What's going on, my friend? Welcome to the channel where I talk about everything there is to know about living in and around Bentonville, Arkansas. And of course, today, the namesake of my channel, living in Bentonville, I'm going to talk to you about what life is like in Bentonville. I get so many people moving here and they ask me, Anthony, what's it really like to live in Bentonville, Arkansas? I truly believe my clients, people like you that are researching a new area, want to know something more than just what is life like there? What are the schools? What are the restaurants that are available to me? No, I think what you're really wanting to know is what's the culture like? What does the day-to-day look like outside of the glitz and glamour that I can research and find online? Well, my friend, this might not be for you, but if you would allow me to take you on a little bit of a journey, I'm going to share with you a little bit of how my family lives in Bentonville, Arkansas. Now, of course, if you're wanting to know those stats, facts, and features about Bentonville, Arkansas and the surrounding area, I have done a video that I'll put a card. It's called The Tour of Bentonville, and I'll make it a suggested video at the end of this video that you're more than welcome to watch that as well. That might give you a more well-rounded understanding of what life is like in Bentonville. If knowing more about our area outside of my YouTube videos and outside of your own Google search, I put together a newsletter for you that if you look down in the comments below, there is a link to sign up for my monthly newsletter. I just started it this year. Hopefully, I'm going to help provide more value to you as someone that's looking to relocate to Bentonville or maybe work in Bentonville. I myself and my family, we've relocated to Bentonville not once, but twice. So I'm a veteran in relocating to Bentonville. Let me tell you what Bentonville is not. There is not a Walmart on every corner, and there is not every one of my neighbors doesn't work for Walmart. Although many of my neighbors might work for a supporting vendor to Walmart, that is very commonplace here. So again, I'm gonna dig into more about what the culture is like, what day-to-day living is like. Some of the common misconceptions I hear about our area is that, oh my goodness, there's probably a Walmart on every corner. Everybody has disposable income. It's so expensive to live there. There's no housing available. My friend, just like probably where you're coming from, there are a lot of misnomers about your area, California, Colorado, Texas specifically. I'm sure not everybody in California knows how to surf or has ever been surfing. And I bet maybe people that live in Colorado don't go skiing every day and don't all drive a Subaru, and much like my friends that move here from Texas, don't all have a horse ranch and wear a cowboy hat. So that's not the case. So let me help dispel some of those beliefs is that yes, although Northwest Arkansas and Bentonville is the mountain biking capital of the world, and your buddy Anthony here does have a mountain bike, I don't get the chance to go out and ride it every day as much as I would like to. But that's something we're gonna dig into again a little bit more about my family and how we live here in Bentonville. First, let's start out by talking a little bit about how you live wherever you live. Let's say again, you live in the Pacific Northwest. You get up, you have your breakfast, you do your morning routine, you go to work, have lunch, you come home, or you work a little bit more maybe, and then come home, or perhaps you're retired and you're just living out the remainder of your life in the Pacific Northwest. Do you want to change that and have the same type of lifestyle, but maybe here in Bentonville? So every day is not glitz and glamour. Not every day is there something exciting going on around town, but it does feel as though there is something always going on around town. More specifically, downtown on the square, there's always events and things taking place. There's a strong sense of community within our small community. Now, the folks that have lived here and grew up here are going to tell you it's overcrowded. My friend, there's 500,000 people in all of Northwest Arkansas. It is planning to double in the next 20 to 30 years. However, many of my clients are moving from areas that you have more population in your city than we have in the entire state of Arkansas. So when it comes to traffic and it comes to drive times and all that kind of stuff, it's not what many of the locals are saying as terrible traffic, my friend. You're going to go through the day-to-day things, whether you're in the Pacific Northwest, the Northeast, as you are here in Bentonville. Because I'm a realtor and I work from home, my day looks like this. Depending on how ambitious I am waking up, I might get up somewhere between 5:30 and 7:30 in the morning, might go run or go for a bike ride on Kohler Mountain Bike Preserve, which is about 5 minutes away from my house. I'll be back in time to skip the school traffic, Of course, by the time that I come home from a ride or after maybe breakfast time, my wife and I, we get a chance to talk about our day either before she leaves and we figure out how we're going to help serve our daughters the rest of the day and who needs to take whomever where later on in the day. We homeschool from our house, so about that time, my daughters are now up and ready to start their school day, and we go about our day. I go run appointments, I go to coffee meetings, I go show properties and go on appointments. My wife does her job. She also works from home. Sometimes she goes into the office. She works for a supporting business to Walmart. Does not work for Walmart, but she works as a supporting business to it as an analyst in a category advisor role. My daughters are involved in different events. My oldest twin is involved in a local track club where she goes and runs and has track club. It's seemingly every night that one of us needs to take her to her events. My youngest daughter, my youngest twin, is involved in ballet, and her ballet studio is only about 5 minutes down the road from where we live. And we're usually winding down around 8:30 when life is shutting down and it's time to get rest and spend time with the family before we call it a day and wake up and do it all over again the next day. Now granted, on the weekends, just like everybody else, we like to cheer for our sports teams. We cheer for the Chiefs. Not a fair weather fan. My wife's been a Chiefs fan ever since she was a little girl. And I've been a Chiefs fan ever since I married my wife. So we're going on 18 years of being a Chiefs fan, not just the last 3 or 4 since they've been winning. Although it makes it a whole lot easier, doesn't it? So as my family cheers for the Chiefs, you should know that the Razorbacks down in Fayetteville is the local sports team that people cheer for. And that is not just a team people cheer for, that is a way of life. People get bent out of shape when the Razorbacks lose, and they sing to the high heavens when they win, my friends. So if you're not a Razorback fan, moving to Northwest Arkansas, living in Bentonville, it's not a big deal. I've been able to do it for years. But cheering for the Razorbacks is certainly a cultural way of life here in Bentonville and in Northwest Arkansas. So on the weekends, we also go to church on Sunday morning, and our church is about 15 to 20 minutes away from our house. Now, when we talk about going down to Fayetteville, we rarely go down to Fayetteville, if at all. Most everything that we like, need, and do is up here in Benton County, mostly around Bentonville. Again, like if it's track, ballet, my wife's work, or even the properties that I go and show, a lot of my business is right here in Benton County, although I do go down to Washington County and up into Missouri as well as over into Berry County on occasion. But our life happens right here in Bentonville on the day-to-day. At the end of our road is a neighborhood Walmart, so grocery shopping is really close by to where we live. Now, some would say, hey, you have all those modern conveniences of mountain biking trails, of those hiking and biking trails around. Don't you just go use those every day? You know, if your lifestyle is such that you're going to be a mountain biker wherever you live, then yeah, that's going to be your lifestyle and your culture as you live here as well. There's a lot of folks here that have Southern values, and now a Southern value, if you've heard of Southern hospitality, where people say yes sirs and yes ma'ams and are polite and say please and thank you, that is really the culture here that you experience. It's very common that you're going to see someone holding the door for someone else, or maybe at Airship Coffee, they'll pay for the person behind them. Those kinds of things are the culture that are here in Bentonville, and you're going to see it on a regular basis, especially if you look for it. But it's really that down-home type of feel, I believe, as I've lived all over the United States, Michigan, California. I've lived in Arizona, Missouri, Minnesota as well. I've also lived in Ecuador. Earlier I had mentioned we've not moved here once, but twice now. So the first time we lived here for about 6 years in Rogers and moved to Bentonville before I was relocated up to Minneapolis and started selling houses up there, but that's a different story for another day. And then we moved back to Northwest Arkansas in the fall of 2020. So a total of about 10 and a half years we've lived in Bentonville and Northwest Arkansas. So that maybe give you some context as to, yes, I'm actually living in the town that I'm telling you about. Being here in Arkansas, it definitely has a better feel, a more down-home and friendly culture than where I've lived in other parts of the country, even in other countries that I've lived. So again, maybe you didn't come to this video to learn more about Anthony's life, but if you're wanting to learn about what life is like truly on a day-to-day basis, hopefully you're finding this useful, my friend. Because there seems to be something going on in Bentonville all the time, typically around the square, we as locals know that when the Bentonville Bike Fest or the Bentonville Film Fest is all happening, we know to maybe steer away from downtown or not go to Kohler Mountain Bike Preserve, because right over by Kohler is where they hold the Bentonville Bike Fest. It's a great event to go to, so we go, check it out, and then come back home. And now, of course, I need to address the elephant in the room. Yes, Walmart is here. Tyson and JB Hunt are here as well. So not all of my neighbors work for Walmart or Sam's Club, but many of them do work for Walmart, for Sam's, for a supporting vendor for one of those companies as well. So some of the culture that you're going to experience if you're looking again to relocate here to Bentonville is that it's a very corporate culture. One of the cool things is when there are events going on, you might have a major sponsor like Ghirardelli that's going to sponsor something like First Friday that happens on the square, the first Friday of the summer months. It's certainly an outdoorsy type culture here where you have access to lakes, streams, golfing, fishing, camping, hunting, e-foiling, all different sorts of activities. The type of environment that is offered to you and your day-to-day life is certainly fostered with those types of features of Northwest Arkansas, of Bentonville, to have access to that right close. Whereas other folks that are maybe moving here from different parts of the country have to travel a distance in order to enjoy those types of life activities. It's a very common thing. Some friends that do work for Walmart, and what they do is they go into work, they bring their bike and a change of clothes, they'll go out for lunch and they'll go ride with a group of others from their work. They'll go ride some mountain bike trails or they'll go ride some gravel trails, and then they'll come back to work, shower at the local facilities there. Walmart's building a new home office, you should know. That allows them to be able to go from work, go enjoy their lifestyle, mountain biking, hiking, walking, rolling, strolling down any of the local bike paths and trails that we have here, and then go back to work for the rest of their day. Now, of course, no matter where you are, there's going to be traffic, right, my friend? And I was just visiting on the phone with a friend of mine that moved here from Santa Barbara, and they would spend hours on the roads to and from work, whereas locals here, they're gonna say, oh my goodness, the traffic is terrible. Where you might have to wait at a stoplight 2, 3, maybe even 4 times before you get to go through that stoplight. Then you wait at the next stoplight, maybe the next stoplight, and then you're through that traffic area. Now again, if you're on the highway like I-49 and there's an accident, heaven forbid, something like that, you know, you're probably not that far away from wherever it is you're trying to go that you can't jump off the highway, take a surface street, and get there just as quickly. Of course, me going out and holding appointments, I know the right traffic times of when school is happening and people are commuting to work on some of the major roads like 102, 72, Walton, Highway 12, and what times people are coming back on those roads. So when you live here, if you know the back roads, if you know what time those traffic patterns are the heaviest, if it is something you want to circumvent, you certainly can do so, my friend. Living here in Bentonville has been a phenomenal experience for my family and I, and for the foreseeable future, this is where we plan on staying. My friend, I bet you're a bit like me and you're doing your research to understand, again, truly deeply, what is it like to live in Bentonville because you're looking to relocate here, you're looking to move here. I would be doing the same thing and have done the same thing when I've moved to different areas and helped other people relocate to different areas of the country. Of course, as always, I hope this video provides of value to you, and now you know a little bit more about what life is like in and around Bentonville. Thanks for watching.